I came home early that rainy afternoon, my heart lighter than it had been in months. Work had wrapped up sooner than expected, and all I could think about was surprising my wife, Sarah, and our 8-year-old daughter, Emma. The house looked peaceful from the driveway, lights glowing warmly through the windows, the smell of Sarah's famous lasagna probably drifting from the kitchen. I slipped my key into the lock quietly, imagining Emma's squeal of delight when she saw me. But as I stepped inside and closed the door behind me, voices from the living room froze me in place. "Emma's just extra, you know. Always has been." The words hit like a punch to the gut. It was my mother-in-law, Linda, speaking in that familiar tone, half concerned, half exhausted. I stood there in the hallway, rain dripping from my coat onto the floor, my briefcase suddenly heavy in my hand. Extra. That single word carried years of weight. I knew exactly what she meant. Emma wasn't like other kids. She felt everything deeply. Laughter that filled the whole house, tears that came like storms, questions that never stopped, energy that could light up a city or wear you down to the bone. She was my bright, whirlwind girl, and I loved her more than life itself. But hearing it said out loud like that, in my own home, made something inside me crack. I should have announced myself. Instead, I stayed hidden, heart pounding, as the conversation continued. Sarah's voice came next, softer but tired. "Mom, please, she's not extra, she's just Emma. The doctor said the ADHD and the sensory stuff make her world louder than ours. We're working on it." Linda sighed. "I know, honey, but look at you, you're exhausted. Alex is always at work trying to provide, and Emma needs so much, therapies, special school meetings, the meltdowns. What about your life? When do you get to just breathe? I worry you're both burning out. Maybe it's time to consider more help. Or different options. Different options." The phrase hung in the air like smoke. My stomach twisted. I thought of all the nights Sarah and I had stayed up talking, reassuring each other that we were in this together. Emma's diagnosis 2 years ago had shaken us, but it also brought us closer, or so I believed. Yet here was doubt, creeping in through the people we trusted most. Before I could step forward, another voice joined in, my brother-in-law, Mark, who had stopped by for dinner. "She's a sweet kid, but yeah, it's a lot. Remember that birthday party last month? She had to leave because the noise was too much. The other parents were staring. It's hard on everyone." Tears burned my eyes. I wanted to burst in and defend my daughter, to shout that her extra was the very thing that made her paint pictures with colors no one else saw, that made her hug with her whole heart, that made her ask questions about stars and why people cry and how love works. But I stayed silent a moment longer, listening, because what came next changed everything. Sarah spoke again, her voice breaking. "You don't understand. When Emma was born, the doctors said she might never walk properly because of complications. But she ran straight into Alex's arms at 18 months. She doesn't speak like other kids sometimes, but when she tells me, 'Mommy, your heart is my favorite color,' it heals every hard day. Yes, it's exhausting. Yes, I cry in the shower some nights wondering if we're doing enough. But she's not a burden. She's the best part of us. Alex and I, we chose this. We choose her every single day." The room fell quiet. Then Linda's voice softened. "I didn't know it meant that much to you. I see how tired you both look, and as a mother, I want to protect you." "I know, Mom," Sarah whispered. "But protecting us doesn't mean dimming Emma's light. It means helping us carry it." That was my cue. I stepped into the living room, my presence startling them all. Sarah's eyes widened, then filled with tears as she realized I'd heard everything. Emma wasn't there. She was upstairs, probably lost in her latest drawing of a rainbow dragon. "I came home early," I said, my voice thick, "to surprise my girls." Instead, I got surprised. The next hour was raw. We talked. Really talked. Like we hadn't in months. I admitted the guilt I carried for working long hours, fearing I was leaving Sarah to handle the hardest parts alone. Sarah confessed the loneliness that crept in during Emma's toughest meltdowns, when friends stopped inviting them over. Linda apologized through tears, revealing her own fears of watching her daughter struggle the way she had watched friends' families fracture under similar pressures. Mark sat quietly, then offered to babysit once a month so we could have date nights again. But the real turning point came when Emma padded downstairs in her mismatched socks, clutching a crumpled piece of paper. "Daddy, you're home," she launched herself at me, all elbows and wild curls. Then she noticed the heavy air in the room. "Why is everyone sad?" I knelt down, holding her close. "We're not sad, sweetheart. We're figuring out how to be better." She handed me the paper. It was a family portrait, stick figures with giant smiles. Mine had a briefcase, Sarah's had a mixing bowl, and Emma's was in the middle with bright, swirling colors around her. "This is us," she said proudly. "Even when it's loud, we're together. Like a superhero team." In that moment, her extra wasn't a problem to solve. It was the superpower that reminded us what mattered. Over the following weeks, everything shifted. We didn't magically fix the challenges. Emma's therapies continued, the sensory overload days still came, and exhaustion still knocked on our door. But we faced them differently. Sarah and I started a weekly team meeting at the kitchen table after Emma went to bed, where we celebrated small wins. Emma reading a full book by herself, or the day she handled a crowded grocery store without melting down. Linda became an ally instead of a critic, researching new calming techniques and even joining us for a family hike where Emma collected rocks like treasures. Mark kept his promise, giving us precious evenings to reconnect. There were still hard days. One night, after a particularly brutal meltdown at school, Emma curled up in my lap and whispered, "Am I too much, Daddy?" My heart shattered. I held her tighter than ever and told her the truth. "You are exactly enough. Your extra makes the world brighter. And we will always, always fight for your light." We sought better support. A new therapist who specialized in neurodiversity affirming care, a parent support group where we met other families walking the same path. Slowly, Emma bloomed. Her confidence grew. She started sharing her drawings at school, turning her extra into art that moved her classmates to tears. Sarah found joy in small rituals again, dance parties in the living room where we all spun until dizzy. And I learned to leave work at work more often, choosing presence over perfection. Looking back, overhearing that conversation was the painful gift we needed. It forced us to stop pretending everything was fine and start building something stronger, honest, resilient, full of grace for the hard parts and celebration for the beautiful ones. If you're watching this and you have a child who feels extra in any way, whether it's energy that never quits, emotions that run deep, differences that make the world harder or more vivid, you are not alone. Your love, your quiet fights in the dark, your choice to show up even when it's exhausting, it matters. It changes everything. Families aren't perfect. They're messy, loud, and sometimes heartbreaking. But when we choose each other anyway, we create something unbreakable. Emma still has her whirlwind days. But now, when the storm comes, we dance in the rain together. If this story touched you, if it reminded you of your own family's battles and triumphs, please hit that like button. It helps more people hear messages like this. And subscribe to the channel. We share real stories of love, resilience, and the moments that change everything. Drop a comment below. What's the extra in your life that you wouldn't trade for anything? Let's build a community that celebrates every kind of beautiful. Thank you for being here. Your family's story matters too. Keep choosing love.